Welcome to the From the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He's a Twitter-like whore, an Instagram thirst trap, and your grandma's guilty pleasure. Beef loaf. A West Coast attitude in a decidedly Midwest body, My Sock Summer. And your host. He's sharing obscure music thoughts to give you time to hit the bathroom. Teresa E.
Thank you, Cornsey. Welcome to the From the 108 podcast. Get ready for some baseball, beer, and bullshit. And remember the drinking rules. If Beef Loaf says allegedly, or that he wrote a blog about that, you drink. If My Sock Summer shows up in the comments, you drink. And if I swear or say, here's the thing, you drink. Beef Loaf, speaking of drinking, my friend, what are you drinking tonight?
Baby, I'm running it back, man. I'm running it back from last week. Having a little tequila, a little añejo. And I'm going to try to, no free ads. I'm going to try to finish this bottle. What's left in here. Shouldn't be too hard to. And then I got a little chaser here. Well, you know, I'm due. I'm due for I'm due for a little tequila night, and I'm going to chase it with some squirt. Squirt zero, I guess. So.
Squirt zero. I didn't know they made that.
Baby, we got to keep it low cal, man. 108 weight loss. We got to stay away from the 108 weight gain. How about you, Teresa? What are you drinking, my friend?
I'm finishing off the last of the peanut brittle. So I got the Sox Golden Ale. The last of the cans, man. We're working through it.
I love it.
It's so hard to say goodbye to Sox Golden Ale.
It's a grind, baby.
I'm doing it.
I still got some in the fridge. Some in the fridge off camera here. I'm not dipping in. We got a Sunday soak on Saturday. I got to conserve. You know,
I've got some for the Saturday soak. I'll be bringing it by.
I appreciate you.
We're gonna be in healthy condition for
that's a quick announcement for everyone. We're gonna do the Sunday soak, but we're gonna do it on Saturday because we don't want to desecrate Easter. So we're gonna do the shit on Saturday. I'll put the questions. I'll put the Batwing symbol out there after the podcast tonight. I'll make sure to get in and cut a quick promo for that shit.
I saw our guy Sam Mendelson on opening day, and he asked me about the Sunday soak, and I said, it's going to be Saturday this week, and he said that's cool, but I want to make sure that it's still the number one rated Chicago hot tub show. And I believe it is. I believe it.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. It came back for one episode before the season started. We had King Nam in the tub with us. Guess what? He's going to be back in the tub with us. My Sock Summer, for whatever reason, is always on fucking vacation, and he can never show up for the Sunday soak anymore, even though this Sunday soak's on Saturday.
I didn't realize My Sock Summer was going on vacation for the entire month of April. Like, that's unbelievable.
He's like, my first game is April 26th. I'm like, what?
His first game is May 30th.
Joe, no problem. You should memorize this entire show. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be packed in baseball. We will talk about other weird shit, too, as we go along the way. No question about it.
Well, Beef, welcome back. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. And my guy, White Sox Sal's been up in the comments talking smack. Yes, I am going to talk about my fucking vacation, okay? It's my goddamn show, Sal. When you got your show, you talk about whatever you want, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm great. I mean, I got a chance to get out of town. You know how work gets you, Treasy. Work will beat your ass down.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you just need to, cut the whole thing off, So Mrs. Beef planned a nice little vacation for the three of us, me, her, and Bonita. It's Bonita's spring break. We went down to the paradise known as Alabama. Well, every time I told someone, where are you going? I said, we're going to Alabama. They just gave me a look like, wait, what? Is there supposed to be something in Alabama? No, we were in Orange Beach, Alabama, and we were right on the Gulf. And it's gorgeous down there. Absolutely beautiful. And it's not overrun like other tourist spots. It's not like we were mobbed. And maybe we just got lucky because kind of later spring break or something like that. The weather was pleasant, but not hot. So it was probably, I don't know, in the mid-70s for the highs during the day. Enough, though, to get tan as fuck. As you can see right now. Dark. I mean, I look like I'm ready to get deported, right? If I don't got my, I got to make sure I got my green card on me, all right?
You almost look like Kramer when he stayed in the tanning bed too long. That's the charredness that you have right now.
Would you look at this fool? That was me, yeah. It was cool, though. Good restaurants, within a short area of the hotel, the hotel resort. We actually had a little hotel bar and everything right kind of inside the door from our pool. Had a nice pool set up, which I took a picture of that really emphasized people not having diarrhea getting in there, which I appreciate. People thought it was overkill in the comments. I really appreciate it. I'll be honest.
I saw that sign. It feels like there was a Target of some sort, man. Like, is there like a restaurant next door or something that you got to be worried about? Or
no? And you know what was funny though? The very first, we got there on the Friday, get in, we take a walk on the beach, we come back, and I actually dealing with a real quick work thing, which I didn't really enjoy that, but okay, done with that. I'm gonna hop in the pool. So Bonita and I jump in the pool. There's no one in the pool. Maintenance man comes and he's like skimming the pool. He's like, I hate to tell you this, but someone got sick in the pool. So we dumped a bunch of chlorine in here. Probably should be fine, but they told me hold off 2 hours. I think that the diarrhea sign was needed because someone either puked or dookied in that pool. And now Bonita and I did not get sick. We weren't in there long enough apparently. But it is a risk at this resort. For whatever reason, I didn't see chili dogs or anything on the menu, but for whatever reason, stuff I guess may just come out of you when you're at this resort.
I mean, we're like the people from Tiger King making the food for like, are we getting like that grade D meat that they were serving in the pizzas? Is that what's going on? Like
at La Bamba? No.
Yeah. Oh man. You'd have to worry about it after
that. That's a throwback, baby. But one thing that always cracks me up whenever I go travel somewhere, it's like you spend enough time in a place, and we did. I spent enough time where I felt totally like I had decompressed, feeling great, and just mind clear of everything. It takes a few days to get that going, and you can't really do that in a Vegas trip because you're just like too wound up. You need like kind of the beach to get that going. But then when you travel home, and you realize like airplane travel is such shit. It is so terrible. And I was sitting there thinking, like, why do we put ourselves through airplane travel? Like, and then just watching people. Now we got lucky on this trip because our flight was delayed. And so when we got to the airport, Mrs. Beef went up there. She's a A-lister for Southwest. So they treat her right. They changed us out of planes and got us in ones that were going to connect and get home like, yesterday when we were supposed to get home and not risking like having to stay overnight in Houston or something on a layover. And they were cool about it too. They gave us the pre-board. So Bonita and I had pre-board both flights, which was fucking excellent. I'd never had that before where you're like one of the first people walk. And we don't have a malady. We're just fucking walking. I felt embarrassed, almost like, oh yeah, I get to walk in front of all you motherfuckers. Only me and the people who need a wheelchair to get on here can get on the goddamn plane. I felt great. Even with all that, Treasy, airplane travel fucking sucks. And the worst thing about it is everyone thinks they need to carry on, and they must pack a bag that weighs more than they do. And they can't lift it over their goddamn head. They should make you, before you get on the plane, take your bag and fucking overhead military press that shit. So I know that you can get it up easily into the overhead. I
agree with you on that part, but that's not why it's so bad. Here's why it's so bad is because, getting it up there, person's having a hard time, whatever, they get it up there. Who cares? I'm already in my seat. I'm just sitting there, probably listening to, music or something and just not really caring. It's when you're getting off and these people are swinging their heavy bags around right into other people's faces. That's when it's a problem.
It's a major risk. Yes,
and it happens like every time. Like every time I'm getting off a plane, like getting off a plane is probably one of the most frustrating things that I've ever seen.
Yes. It's so poorly done. Even getting on or off, but you're right. When you're getting on, it's not that big of a deal. You're like, who gives a fuck? When you're trying to get off, everyone's trying to get home and get somewhere, and it's the absolute worst, And I'm a big fan of Midway Airport for 95% of everything about Midway Airport. It's easy to navigate. They get you through security real quick, no problems. The one bad thing about Midway Airport, especially bad when you get in at like 10 o'clock and you're dead ass tired, is it takes forever to get your bags. 40 minutes I waited, Treasy. 40 minutes for my fucking bag. It's like, did you get lost? When I was in the tiny Pensacola airport, bro, I didn't even get down there to the goddamn baggage, and the 12 gates, and my fucking bag was already there. I was like, this place does this shit right.
Beef, we're going up to Minnesota in July, and I hope everyone in the chat is going too. It's going to be fun, up there for the Sox. I don't know if I'm gonna bring any baggage. I might just be like, I'm wearing these clothes all weekend. I'm just not gonna deal with it.
I respect that game. We should actually, what we should do?
There's Targets everywhere up there. If I need anything, I'm good.
We should dress up. We should dress up like tourists in Minnesota, like Prince Akeem did, and come to America when they had all the shit on. We do that the second day, the Saturday when we're gonna get together with all the Sox fans. We dress in all Minnesota bullshit,
just full on T-Wolves, head to toe, and a Vikings helmet. Exactly. And not like a Viking, like from back in the day. I'm talking about a football helmet.
Like Chris Carter's fucking helmet. I need actually, yeah, because I got a smaller head. MSS needs Dante Culpepper's gigantic head helmet. Yeah. That's what he needs. So
that big Rottweiler head.
I mean, obviously, but it was great to get away on vacation. I come back, and I'm working today, as you were too. I don't know if you were in the office or at home. I was at home. I didn't watch the game. I cut little pieces of it. I had some shit running around to do. I had to go pick up my car. I was in the shop, all this stuff. And here comes through the Twitters the Lurie Garcia hate. Lurie Garcia hatred. And I know he fucked up. He played terrible today, right? But I was thinking about this, Treasy. The Lurie Garcia hate never leaves. And I was thinking, this would be akin to the 90s Bulls. So let's say the Sox are like the 90s Bulls. Who would that be akin to? Like having a fucking fit, having a hissy fit over this player not playing well. I figured out Cliff Livingston. Can you imagine a 90s Bulls fan so pissed about Cliff Livingston? Oh, I can't believe Cliff Livingston in his 21 minutes. He sucked. Accurate. You know, it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't know why people worry so much about Lurie Garcia. Yeah, he stunk today. So what? A lot of bench players stink. Who cares? The 11th best player on the roster had a bad game. Big fucking deal. It happens. You know,
they're acting like the $16 million was like a signing bonus. Dude, that's for 3 years. It's like 2% of your payroll.
This is basically minimum wage.
I mean,
motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, like every utility infielder that's played for 3 years and has gotten into ARBs is getting this much money. Like it's, and the thing is too, like here's the part that I didn't understand, Beef. Yeah. I saw so much about we should have Romy Gonzalez instead of him, and it's like if the Sox believe that, you would have Romy Gonzalez right now because Danny Mendick is on the roster. Lurie's not blocking Romy. Danny Mendick is blocking Romy. So if you're going, hey man, Lurie shouldn't be on the roster. We need Romy. No, you should be saying Danny Mendick shouldn't be on the roster. We need Romy, and then let Romy play him off the field.
Yeah, because no, I agree. Totally agree with that.
Because I don't give a shit. Like I like Lurie Garcia, whatever. He's like the third backup for every position. Like
who cares?
There's another backup in front of him for like every position. So like, you know why you didn't see him or why you saw him today? Because Josh Harrison also was hurt.
Yeah. Yes, exactly right. I mean, this is always the argument. Oh, Lurie gets overplayed. That's not really anyone's fault except for the rest of the guys on the roster that don't stay healthy or that need time off to stay healthy. You could replace Lurie Garcia with a different Lurie Garcia. And that'd be fine, but it would still be your punching bag. Like I don't understand. Like who cares? Like yes, that guy's not that great. Of course, he's not a real starter or anything. He's the 11th best player on the position player side. That shit happened. Cliff Livingston, you know, sometimes he's bad in the game, and then sometimes he plays decently. You know, it cracks me up. I'm not telling you not to hate on Lurie Garcia. I'm just going to laugh in your face when you do it, if that's okay with you. If that makes you feel good, me laughing in your face for that, then go for it.
I'm also not going to tell you to love Lurie Garcia. Like, there's no reason for that.
No.
Like,
I think part of the reason
Lurie
gets a lot of heat is one, he's not that good, but two is the man Ken W.O. defends the shit out of him. Like at all costs. That's true. Ken W.O. goes to bat for him, and anyone who he goes to bat for is going to get like unnecessary heat. Like the same way Alex Colomé would get unnecessary heat. Alex Colomé did a great job with the Sox. I've never understood the hate. He did a great job. Yes, is Liam Hendricks better? Yes, would rather have Liam, but it's not like Colomé did bad, but because the man gets a reaction. I love it. So anyway, Lurie Garcia, hate him or don't hate him, he's Cliff Livingston on this team. Just remember that. He's the Cliff Livingston of this White Sox team.
I like that comparison. I'm going to go with it. I love it. Treasy, how you doing, my friend? I'm doing good, Beef. But you know what? I want to ask you a question. Do you know who is absolutely terrible at marketing? Oh. I'll give you a hint. It's Major League Baseball. There are so many people pissed off about this Apple Plus game tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they don't need to be. It's Major League Baseball has not gotten the word out that this shit is free. that you don't need a subscription. You just need to get the app and you can watch it on your phone, on your TV, wherever you want to watch it. But they did such a shitty job of letting anybody know about that people are like, I'm not subscribing to this. I don't need another streaming service. And you're right. You probably don't. You probably have 7 of them already. You don't need another one. And if you do need this one, you just get it while Ted Lasso's on, and you turn it off, and then you're out.
Get rid of it.
But it's free. It's like
Nothing.
But you should have banners on MLB.com going free game tomorrow. And I looked, there wasn't one. Maybe I missed it. Maybe someone's gonna screenshot and go like, Treasy, it's right here. I didn't see it.
Billy Wires is upset. He says, I have to load the app. That's hard at 44 years old. Hey, if you can get anything hard at 44, you're doing good, baby. Keep it up. Keep with it.
It's got a pocket full of blue chews trying to turn on the app.
White Sox Sal wants to know: are you more indifferent to Lurie or the 108 tourney?
Lurie. I have to participate in the 108 tourney.
Kinda. Now Huck is mad at me. I could tell. See, he's making fun of me again, and he got mad because I made the comment about beef sandwiches. Huck, you are not from Chicago. Why do you give a fuck about the beef sandwich so much? That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm curious. I hurt your feelings because he came at me aggressive, right?
See,
and he's a military dude. I do not want him to whoop my ass for no reason.
He would whoop your ass.
He would whoop my ass. I don't need that in my life, man. I like Huck. I like Huck and Mrs. Huck. Awesome people. But he'd be coming at me hard, man. Shit.
I feel like if Huck got in your face about something,
I'd back down.
Slipknot starts playing automatically. Like it just happens. Like out of nowhere. Like the PA guy at the park is just like, oh, I think I need to play this right now.
He says, let's spin this back. You want to see a 6'2", 250-pound man back down like a huge puss? That would be Huck getting in my face and then me not doing anything.
I want this to happen now.
That's absolutely right. Oh, shit.
Well, I guess, hey, Treasy, pay some bills, buddy, because My Sock Summer didn't bother to show up today. Hey there. I'm Treasy, and I drive a Mazda CX-30. My good buddy, My Sock Summer, can tell you all about the features of the Mazda, but I can tell you what it's actually like to drive a Mazda. In town or on the open road, the handling of a Mazda CX-30 is second to none. I actually look forward to the exit ramps, pretending I'm in a race, zooming into that final turn. When I look at my Mazda every morning, my eyes always start to well up. The Kodo design captures a sense of movement, even at a standstill. Every CX-30 has a sweeping S-curve along the doors, which captures the interplay of light and shadow, constantly shifting and reflecting the world around you, inspiring you to seize the moment. And you want to talk about power? No matter where your path leads, the Mazda CX-30 is made to help you follow it. There's all kinds of shit here that My Sock Summer put in that I can't even read, but I'll just tell you that it has tons of torque and horsepower, and that it sounds really fucking cool, whatever he wrote. As you know, I take my music very seriously, and with an 8-speaker audio system with Mazda harmonic acoustics, I can enjoy my tunes at the highest audio quality possible. And having my Mazda CX-30 equipped with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, well, Apple CarPlay for me, I can listen to my music the way I want it. It's my second favorite feature behind the windshield wiper that is smarter than King Nam. So get your butt down to Mazda of Orland Park. Tell them your boy Treasy sent you. They're Sox fans, so you know they'll treat you right. You can check them out on the web at www.mazdaoforlandpark.com to see the full line of new and used vehicles. Give them a follow on Twitter at ZoomZoomNation, as they are known to give away Sox tickets and free parking. That's fucking great. Mazda of Orland Park, home of the Zoom Nation, 8910 West 159th Street in beautiful Orland Park. 708-444-3200. Zoom.
Comments were going crazy there. You know what I want you to do, Treasy? Don't do it the next podcast, but a podcast soon, when you tell MSS to pay the bills, just fucking play that shit on top of him. Don't let him just cut him off with that fucking thing. That was awesome.
Oh my god. So the ad read that he gave me, like the whole middle of it is a bunch of shit I couldn't even I was like, I don't know what this means. Like, I don't even know how to inflect because I don't know what any of this means. So like, I'm just going to skip it. But it was super long. I mean, it's super, as you'd notice, it was like a 2-minute commercial. Yeah. I'm just like, what are you doing to me?
He always does that though.
He wants just giggling about it.
He wants to write a poem. He wants to just he wants it to be MSS Poetry Minute. That's what the ad reads really are. That's why he wants to write them. That's the only reason. That was incredible. I love
like to say, I'm about to McGuire during this ad read. We call him the general here, sir.
Oh man. Yes, MSS would have mentioned Jagoffs 20 times by then.
He didn't put Jagoffs in there once.
That's upsetting.
So I see Jimmy's in the comments here. I met Jimmy's brother-in-law.
Oh, really?
And they must have like some like across the family like hair competition because this guy had ridiculously gorgeous blonde hair.
Oh shit! Damn.
I was like, what's going on here? I was like,
Did you get a picture?
He took a picture. So there's a picture somewhere. Okay. Maybe Jimmy has it. You never know.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But yeah, I was like, the hair in this family, and he's like, we're not related. He made it very clear, Jimmy, that he is not related.
Wow.
To you, by the way,
there.
Very clear. He was like, I am not related to. No, he didn't say that. But I was just like, what is this? Like, I just didn't even get it. It was so awesome.
Now, well, is it Jimmy's sister's husband or is it Jimmy's wife's brother? Or you don't know.
So we were in line for a porta potty, so I didn't get too in depth on this, but nevertheless,
did you see his peen? I mean,
yes.
you were in that line, gorgeous, right?
He was holding the door open with it while we were taking the picture.
And it also had gorgeous blonde locks.
Oh man, yeah. It was, and Brian has to be happy. It was permed. It was wonderful.
As it should be. Incredible. So opening day, Treasy. Tell me about opening day because I wasn't there. Right. I was vacationing. I was getting some sun, as everyone can see. I've been tanned up. I got my summer tan going. You went to opening day. How'd it go, baby?
So let me start by saying, Aloha Mr. Hand tells me earlier in the week, hey, we're going to do, or last week, I should say, hey, we're going to do Wings and Rings if you want to meet up. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. I'll grab a bite before we go, all this stuff. So I'm talking to Quernsey. I'm like, I don't know, let's get down there at like 12:30. We'll park by where Beef lives, and then we'll walk over. Plenty of time.
Yep.
I walk over. It's like 12:35.
Yeah.
These guys are already leaving Wings and Rings. Because despite Wally saying, hey, I don't want to really get too drunk today, he got there at 10 a.m.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's 3:00 game.
Walter money.
we're not 21, man. Right? Like, so I'm like, all right, well,
yeah,
we'll see what we're doing here. So then we're like, hey, they're like, hey, well, let's go head to the tailgate. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, I knew Shane was up there cooking. So I was like, well, that's where I'll go first. You know, that'll work out. So we're walking over, and Bill Atwater, who is a mass of a fucking human.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a big dude. Like, there's nowhere I ever think like, what if we got in a fight? Not with this dude. No one would even fuck with you. Well, he's walking down the street with a cooler, and Wally, because Wally's trying to stay sober, needs a beer for the walk from Wings and Rings to the tailgate. Because I mean, good God, could you go 3 blocks without a beer? So
no, he cannot.
Bill hands him a bottle of beer and a bottle opener. You would have thought gave this motherfucker a Rubik's Cube. He just like.
No, did he try to hand it off? Did he try to give it to someone else to do it for him?
No, but I'm surprised that he didn't like. You ever see like the bad videos of like sabering a champagne bottle? Like I thought it was going to be that. He eventually he wedged his way into the beer and he was all good. And then, but so we get to the park and then like we kind of split off. So there's a couple different groups of people, and so I go over and walk down with Mr. Hand and Quernsey, and we head down by Shane because Shane's all the way at the end of the parking lot, over by where the buses are.
So close to lot A. He's
exactly.
near lot A. That's right.
Exactly. He's on that edge there on the grass, like by the porta potties, where Shane belongs, near the porta potty.
Yes.
And so we walk up and I see him and he, laughs at the mustache. And then he's like, hey, you want a brat? And I was like, absolutely. So I basically checked Danny Parkins into the boards so that I could get Shane's meat in my face.
I like that. All of that.
And so like, we're eating, I'm having a conversation with James Fox and so that's, all good. And just enjoying that. And then we're like, okay, well, let's hit the next place. So we went over to the On Tap tailgate. And this is where like, there was just a ton of people, right? Like, so, and nice. I'm not even going to be able to name them all, but like a lot of the homies. So obviously like, Buzz, Tony, Johnny are over there.
Steve.
Then, I ran into NWI Steve, and NWI Steve is the first one that tells me we're going to need to drink a lot if we're going to watch this Velasquez start, which was kind of a common theme amongst people. Okay. So we'll get to Velasquez in a little bit. Burke hands me a beer right away. And then, I told you Sam was there. So Austin, Allie, a whole bunch of people. Right. And so we're just having some beers there, having a lot of fun. Yep. Steve-O and NWI Steve get together to hug. They see each other. They go to hug. This was the wobbliest hug I've ever seen. I thought they were both. Yes. I thought they were both going to hit the ground. And so, but they're fine. They got through it. They got through it.
They held on to each other instead of having to hold on to the earth.
So now we're like, okay, well, let's head into the. Oh, also, I met Luis Roberts' butt cheeks.
Oh, did you?
He gave me the whole post office story. He's a nice kid. Kid. And so now I'm like, okay, well, let's go in the stadium. So I run into Uncle Grumpy and Marv on the way. Oh, nice. And now I'm crossing the street now, right? Yep. And then I just hear someone screaming my name. So I figured it was like Grumpy, and maybe I like dropped something or left something behind or something, and he's yelling to me.
Yeah. It's
not. I turn and there's a car driving down the street. I'm down 35th.
Yeah.
Holding up traffic, screaming to me. Okay. And it's Barstool Carl. And so I'm like, look over, and Cornsey turns with me, and we're looking, and he's like, hold on. And like, he starts digging around, and I'm like, I think he's doing like a Reese McGuire joke, But no, he was just like pulling out a koozie, like a 108 koozie. But like he's literally stopped traffic to do this right in front of the park. And I'm like, I love the commitment. I appreciate it. But I totally thought it was a Reese McGuire bit.
That's amazing.
So I get inside, and now it's early. I got inside early.
Now let me ask this question, Treasy. I know for this year you can take the fancy entrance if you want to. Did you do it, or did you go gate 2?
I absolutely took the fancy entrance.
Because
I wanted to see how it worked.
Test it. Yeah, you got to test it.
Wanted to see how it works. And there wasn't much of a line at that point. So it was,
Yeah.
But I was like, also like, I'll take an elevator. We're just walking around everywhere. So
yeah, for sure.
So we get inside. It's like 2:20, and the fireworks go off. It almost killed King Nam. Like I swear, like he was turned away from the scoreboard, and he just looks at me. And he's like, "I just almost had a fucking heart attack. Why are they blowing off fireworks?"
What was it? What the hell's going on?
It was like practice or something. I have no idea why they did it. There was nothing connected to it. Fireworks just went off, and then they didn't mention it. Like just
they just pretended it never happened.
They
so
just
this shit did not happen at all.
Nothing went up on the scoreboard. Nothing. Also, the scoreboards did not work. Like
good start to the year.
They were a weird gray color for the. They don't. I was there yesterday. They don't look like that anymore. They were fixed, and incredible. There was no ball count for the whole day, and Yoel Moncada was up to bat for like 2 hours.
Yoel Moncada, he's not in the lineup.
It was not good. It was not a great moment for the scoreboard operations.
Tim Maher's correct. Yeah, it was the fireworks that almost gave the 5-time reigning season hot dog champion a heart attack. That's the story we're going with. All right, Tim, take it easy.
So, Beef, to prepare you for inside the stadium.
Yeah, I need to hear this.
Here's some good stuff. So, one good thing. Sherry and the crew are still at the Beers Around the World, or whatever they call it, right above us.
Beautiful.
Saw them right off the bat.
Got our peoples up there. I like
Hooked
it.
us up. We had they've got a larger assortment of like seltzers and stuff.
Okay.
You know, so like
Not
so
a seltzer guy, but
but the wives, we would
For
always
ladies,
have to go
yeah.
to a different
that's true.
place.
Or they'd have
get-
to settle for like a particular flavor because that's all they had.
So we're all good
about
there
that.
now.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
The selection though has dwindled.
It's gone
Has
downhill.
dwindled. Yeah, I mean, like supposedly there's pipe works coming, but there was none there.
Okay.
And then
What were you
like
guys hitting on opening day then? What'd you
I had Antihero at first,
That's good. Yeah.
but then I was with the Cos brothers, so it was lights most of the day.
Okay.
Great, they were great tasting and less filling.
They generally
sure.
are. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's good. Yesterday at the park, our guy James was the vendor in the seats,
Oh, nice.
which was solid. But opening day, dude, vendor desert in our section, man. I got a vendor
Incredible.
once all day, but like
Incredible. They don't know.
people,
They don't know.
the people around were hooking it up though. And
Okay.
our guy Jared came down and gave me a beer. That was very nice of him. A few other people gave me a beer. I appreciated
Yeah, Jared's
all
good
of them.
people.
Yeah,
Jared
our guy
always
Shane
fucks with me
Spagnola
too.
was in MSS's seat too. I had a good time with him.
Oh, that had to be better than MSS being there.
Yeah, it was way.
No, Jared always fucks with me because he still remembers 3-4 years ago when I did the Sox Machine offseason plan and I traded Luis Robert for Eugenio Suarez. He brings up Eugenio Suarez to me all the time, like because he remembers. He's one of the few people are starting to forget. Jared not going to let me forget. He's going to bring it back up.
Well, Beef Suarez was in town this week, so I definitely mentioned it a lot.
Great. Make sure you tell everyone. Tell
We
all your
definitely
friends.
talked. I talked about it to most people that would listen. It was like I was like Forrest Gump on the bench, just telling whoever wanted to hear about you trading
How many idiots?
Eugenio Suarez, trading Luis Robert for Eugenio Suarez. But so Beef. Now we get to the game.
Yeah.
All right, and like I said, there was two camps on Velasquez. So let's talk Vince Velasquez first.
Let's do it.
There was two camps. There was, and people are very realistic about this guy, which was good. Like no one was expecting him to either be, like the best thing ever or just absolute horrible.
Yeah.
Most people were like, get ready to drink because we're going to have a big bullpen day. And then the other people were like, we just got to get through this one. Like, this is, this, you got to get a bit of luck and just get through it.
Yep.
So watching it in the park, it sounded, looked like he was getting hit very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of times it was either getting killed by the wind and it was just like, they're fly balls, or they were just going right to somebody. So yeah, a little bit of luck. Went home, was like, did I see that right? Did I hear that right? Yeah, they were getting hit hard.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you're not counting on him for a lot of starts this year. You've got a lot of days off here. You've got guys like Lambert filling in here and there. You got Cueto on the way. Giolito's going to be back. Like, you're only counting on this guy for a few starts. So be happy that this is how this one worked out. This is a best case scenario for what he was throwing. Mm-hmm. Just take it. So I'm just going to feel good about it.
You're feeling like we got away with one. We kind of and you did actually blog about this. You did say, well, the results were good, but the underlying pitching not as good. And for me, Treasy, I was not at the game, but I did get back to the room at the hotel and I watched closely because I was like, I want to check out Velasquez and someone that they bet on. They bet small on him, right? They paid him $3 million, no big deal. But I kind of want to keep an eye on the Katz bets. To me, this felt like a bet that they were making on Ethan Katz, that he could turn a pitcher and could do something with him. So watching the game, I noticed a few things. One, he was extremely wild early in the count, and he could not hit his spots at all. He couldn't get ahead in the count whatsoever. And I think that's kind of what caused some of the hard hit balls. And part of the reason I think is because he knows that they light his four-seam fastball on fire if he throws it right down the pipe to start an at-bat. And I think they were kind of looking for that. And so he's really trying to nibble a bit more. Now, I agree with you. There was a bunch of hard hit balls. But there was also a bunch of pop-ups and bullshit that was not hit very hard. So like you could see kind of where it was going, where it could go if he had any control or if he get a strike over early in the count. Also, it looked like the secondary offerings were fine. It was more that the fastballs like were meatballs. I mean, that's kind of been the crux of his career so far. I did notice too that I looked at the pitch mix on Baseball Savant. He was throwing a lot less four-seamers than he had in the past. Like for his career, there was like a big dip down of that, and then the other pitches going up. So my thought is this: if he's going to be effective going forward, you can't hope that it's going to be that goddamn lucky that one, hard hit balls are right at people. Two, you have the wind blowing in like 90 miles an hour from left field to suppress your home runs. If you're going to throw that many fly balls, it's fine if they end up as pop-ups. But he's got to get a strike over early in the count. And I like that lollipop curveball he throws. No one's going to swing at that bullshit early in the count. Throw that thing first. Get that over for a strike. And then let's start working some of the other stuff. The slider, curveball change were okay. Reasonably effective. It was just the fastballs that weren't quite as good. So if I'm him, that's what I would do. One thing I did also checked on Baseball Savant. I don't know. It's one start, 4 innings. But spin rates were up on everything for him year over year. Now, that could just be there's no wear and tear yet, right? Start number 1, and you're feeling sharp in 2020. So there's something there, and maybe you're up 5-10% on your spin rates. Or maybe there's something they did find there, and he's just struggling with control at the start of this. And maybe this could get better as it goes. I agree with you, Treasy. It's not a big bet to begin with. This is 4th, 5th starter, long man relief fodder right here. And if you hit something big, if it happens to be, we really unlock some shit, great. There's plenty of room to use it. But it's not something you're acutely depending on. So I thought the same thing you thought. We got away with one there. We snuck out of that game. We got 4 innings and just 1 run on that 1 home run by Suarez that was hit like a bullet. And, Luis Robert did his job sneaking over there and making that catch to save some runs.
I got to watch that sitting in the vicinity of his butt cheeks, which was nice.
His butt cheeks were right next to you, and then he's right out there making the catch.
And then they were also out there. It was weird.
It's like a magic trick. So, yeah, I mean, close the book on Velasquez. He's going to have to get a lot better to make much of an impact here. Now, I'm grateful for the start, but he needs some improvement.
Now, one thing I was thinking, Beef, is like, can you narrow it down now that so as a starter, I get it. He's going to throw all 5 pitches that he throws, right? But you see the movement on the curveball, and you see that's something that he's always had a good whiff rate on. Mm-hmm. Is that something that he could use as kind of his takeout pitch? Like he's going to close out the at bat with that, but he's only throwing like 2 other pitches, right? Whether it be like just a sinker. Like I could see him abandoning the 4-seamer and just throwing sinker, slider, and then that curveball.
And then I could see that. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm wondering to see what the pitch selection looks like when he moves to the pen, because he's going to eventually move to the pen. He's going to get moved out of the rotation.
Right. Yeah,
we got to hope. We got to hope.
Well, and even
otherwise, other stuff's too bad.
After the night, I know we weren't planning to talk about this, but the next night, Dallas Keuchel looked much sharper. Now, the sharpness started to fade after like the 60, 70 pitch mark, but he looked sharp to start the game.
Him striking a bunch of people out was weird.
I wasn't watching, but I'm watching it on the game day, like the game cast or whatever. And when he's hitting like the corner of the strike zones, and it's like guys are swinging at the shit. That's when Dallas Keuchel's right. Like when he's throwing that low shit, kind of slightly off the plate, and they're swinging at it and either pounding that into the ground or missing. That's the real Dallas Keuchel. So that's what he looked like, last night. So I think it's going to be fine. Ultimately, I agree with you. I think Velasquez is going to be back in the bullpen. One thought that ran through my mind, and I know we're not planning to talk about Dallas Keuchel, but after seeing that start, if you got that start kind of for the whole rest of the year, are you okay paying $20 million next year for him?
No.
We're not there yet. We haven't got. I was thinking we need the Dallas Keuchel $20 million meter. Like, remember how we had the rebuild meter? I want MSS to put the $20 million meter, and then we'll do it during the season, and we'll see if we get to over halfway that we want it.
Beef, I would love 159 innings of what we got yesterday.
Yes. 100%.
I'll tell you. So yesterday was interesting though, on its own, because I was sitting here kind of like thinking like the game wasn't going to happen.
Yep.
You know, and so I'm sitting around and I'm like trying to test the waters with King Nam if he's going to come down and go to the game, or come up, I should say, go to the game. And like I'm just like I'm hoping that someone's going to go. And then I'm watching the CHGO pregame, which was funny that they had a pregame because there was no indication that there was going to be a game.
Just run it out there anyway. Who cares?
And Herbie was like, "Hey, if it looks like they're going to play, I'm going to go." And so I was like, I will send you Cornsy's ticket. Let's do this. And then Mr. Hand gave Sean his ticket. So I was like, okay, they're going. I'll meet them up there.
Nice.
And then it was nice because and then people started to trickle. You know, you got Alex Rude came up, Brian Luke and his dad came up. And so we had a nice little crowd there for a day that I did not think there was going to be a baseball game. And you know what? We didn't get too wet, which was nice. And
nice.
And they played well. I thought the team played pretty damn good last night.
Yeah,
and best part, the angle catch. Now this is something that's really awesome when you sit in right field, because we were just waiting for the ball to go over the fence. It looked like a home run. It felt like a home run. And then you didn't see angle at all because we're on an angle to not see angle. And all of a sudden you just see like a red mitt pop up and just take it away. That's all you saw. It's like a little magic trick. It was perfect.
I love it. I also love to besmirch Adam Engel's great over the fence catches, because Adam Engel and I are the same height. He's 6'2", right? And if I stand next to the fence right there, I could palm the top of the fence. So it's really not that high, even though it looks totally awesome when Adam Engel goes up and you can see his big juicy butt cheeks, up there, and he's making the catch. And it looks incredible. It's like, this is a great play. And it's like, he doesn't really have to jump that high. Like he's already that tall. He just reach. It looks like it's like Manute Bol blocking a shot. He just reaches.
We just saw the hand. It was like when you see a GIF on the internet where it's just a table with some food, and then you see like a cat paw come up and just like rip something out. It was like that. It was awesome.
Man, I'm sorry I missed that. That sounds like the best thing that I missed.
It was great. Yeah, you know who else was great? Luis Robert. Before, give me your thoughts on Luis Robert so far, because he's blowing my mind.
Oh, Treasy. Luis Robert is like President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Camacho from Idiocracy. All right, they introduce him and he's like, the champion of the fighting and porn superstar, and that's what Luis Robert is. And that game on Wednesday, he makes the great catch, so he saves Vince Velasquez's ass where he makes the catch up against the wall. He's running so fast that he bounces so fucking hard into the wall, like he didn't even know it was there, pops off, no problem. Then later on in the game, he smashes a home run to right center that didn't even look like he swung that hard, fucking puts it in the stands. And then for his last at bat, he gets a single and just decides, guess what? I don't give a shit. I'm going to steal every base. And we talked about this before the season. We're like, what's he going to do? Are they going to let him run, or are they going to, and not let him go? Like, are they going to stop him from running? Or they say, we got a lot of power hitters, whatever. No. Luis Robert can run whenever the fuck he wants. And you're right. He is so goddamn fast. He don't even have to get a good jump, and they got no shot. When he stole third, and I was watching that on my phone, Stoney's like, they don't even have a chance here. The guy went down to his knees and quick released it and made a great throw. And Luis's hand is already all over the base before the guy is even setting up to catch the goddamn ball. That's how fast he is. And I like that he uses the oven mitt. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of that. I wish they put 2 oven mitts on Luis when he's out there, just to make sure running the bases, we don't take any risks.
Yeah, I don't love him sliding into home with that, but nevertheless, he's just incredible. He's just an incredible athlete, and it's just watching it, and especially watching it in the park, and just seeing him, the amount of ground that he covers is unreal. And it's especially because you got to think about, like, okay, you've got Eloy in left, or you've got Vaughn in left, and neither one of them can play the outfield. So like he has so much more ground to cover. And don't tell me that I don't want to see any comments about Andrew Vaughn being good in the outfield. His play of the game today was like one of the worst plays I've seen in the outfield. But Luis is just covering so much ground, and it doesn't look difficult. Like, it's crazy watching someone who does what he does and makes it look as simple as it looks. Because like Adam Engel is a good outfielder. I enjoy watching him play the outfield, but it looks like he is giving 1,000% every time and getting to these things, and he makes great plays. I was just talking about one
too.
Just I love it, but it looks like he is giving everything he's got. Luis just looks like it's not even a problem. Like, he's just there. He's just already there somehow. It's awesome. I love thinking about this guy being on our team.
There is a lot of that. But he has that at the plate too, Treasy. He has that at the plate. Like, when he swings, the ball just bounces off the bat unbelievably. Even in stuff you didn't think he hit it that hard. Like that home run, I'll be honest with you. Like, you see a swing and you think, this guy hit a home run. And then sometimes they're not home runs. They're flyouts to left field or whatever. That was a swing where it's like, I think the guy hit a line drive and it just got hit so goddamn far in the stands. Like, he just has so much fucking power. And he's hitting the ball real hard the other way. Like, this is a huge problem for the rest of the league. You know how we do, the White Sox Dave pray for the league bullshit? That's what this is. Luis Robert is a pray for the league. You guys are fucked, And I'd heard someone say, I forgot who it was, said, he's kind of like a Ferrari. You worry that, at max speed, this is going to be the best thing out there. But then they break down. Then you don't got it. I mean, I just pray that Luis Robert stays healthy and figures out a way to stay healthy, because he does have a big body. I mean, he's a big guy. Like, for the amount of speed, I mean, that's like exactly right. He's like Bo Jackson kind of out there. Like, he's like a modern Bo Jackson in a way, like, he's so impressive. And like,
luckily no one's putting running back days on him. Like, I'll
you know what? If Luis Robert stunk for 2 weeks, it would be like 90s Bulls would be like yelling at Michael Jordan. That's fine. Yelling at Cliff Livingston is a little ridiculous, and that's what we're doing with the Leury Garcia thing. Just to bring that back. I don't. You know what, Billy Wires? I don't know, but I would not doubt it. I'll be honest. I would not doubt it. I have no idea, but I wouldn't doubt that. He just is good at everything. Teresa, he's just good at everything. And if they continue to let him run and he stays healthy, I mean, he might steal 50 bases. Like, he could, like, on a weak catcher, like, how easily he stole second and third. You know how many times you could do that just on a weak catcher? Just like, I'm just going to take over this game. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, like, you think about it, like, when we had Billy Hamilton, right? Yeah. You're like, if Billy gets on base, like, he could just take second and third, right? Well, Luis Roberts just as fast.
And he gets on base a lot.
But he gets on base way more.
Exactly.
I don't know. Right? I'm excited for the possibilities. It's just that good. I'm also excited for the possibilities of a recorded YouTube ad from you. So I'm going to play that now.
Let's do it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on a live stream right now and haven't subscribed, make sure you tickle the undercarriage of that subscribe button and get on board. If you've already subscribed and are watching the show, talking smack about MSS's internet and generally meat gazing at Treasy E and I, please smash that like button in the face. If you are listening on the podcast feed and have never enjoyed the eroticism that is the YouTube version of this show, come to youtube.com/FromThe108 and hit that subscribe button. Our previous goal was 1,000 subscribers. We're currently at 1,100 plus. That's going to allow us to make minimum wage for about 1 hour per month if we do a full podcast schedule. You just can't beat that. So get your friends, your family, your dog, everyone to subscribe and allow the 108 to fulfill the dream of becoming YouTube thousandaires. I love you. I love that read, and I also get very sad when I look at how much we make in YouTube, even when we get a lot of views.
It's not money. Beef. A little more baseball talk, though. I want to get some more stuff, some early season notes, and let's just talk a little bit about the super bullpen, which has not necessarily been super. And one guy who's not been super is one Aaron Bummer. And
Your guy.
I'm a Bummer truther.
You are a Bummer truther.
But it hasn't looked great. Beef, what are your initial thoughts on Bummer?
I mean, my first thought is, does Aaron Bummer need LASIK surgery? I mean, it worked for Ronaldo Lopez, right? This guy has been so goddamn wild, and it's like, there's like the wildness that's effective, and then there's the wildness where it's like no one's swinging at that. Like half the time, Bummer has been, you're never going to swing at that pitch. If he gets close to the plate, especially with the slider, they are taking hacks at it that they can't hit it, right? But he's just been so kind of off, and he has wild stats right now. Like he has a 7.71 ERA, right? So that's the actual real results of what happened. But his FIP is 0.83. Okay, which means he should have almost no ERA, right? Basically, everything that's getting hit in play is turning into a hit on him. He has a 50% strikeout rate so far. 50% of the hitters that walk up to the plate against him, he strikes out. But he's also walking 21% of those people. I'm wondering if, and I'm thinking someone like Mailman Jack might have some Pearl Vision coupons put up against his refrigerator. We pull those down, we hand them off to Aaron Bummer, and we just get him a little eye exam. All right, I think Mailman Jack be willing to help out. He's got to have the Pearl Vision. I know he does. All right, he cannot lie to me. He does not have Pearl Vision coupons on his refrigerator right fucking now. Pull those down, Jack. You come out to the ballpark. We'll talk to someone. We'll slip them to Aaron Bummer and make sure he can see better. Because when he is on his game, he's absolutely unhittable. Like you're an Aaron Bummer truther. He is unhittable if he's on his shit. But he's been so off his shit so far, and still has a 50% strikeout rate.
And it feels like he and Liam are having issues with their secondary pitches, where they can't get them over the plate, and then they have to rely on going right at the batter, and the batter knows what's coming at that point because they're just throwing just junk. Like when Liam's throwing his slider, it's just nowhere near anything. Right. And Bummer's having that half the time. Bummer's getting the slider over. When Bummer gets the slider over, like
they can't hit it. Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
When he doesn't, then he starts just throwing fastballs and trying to just burn them by these guys. And like, you can't just throw fastballs by guys. Like it's not that league anymore, man. Like everybody's just waiting on that. And when you can't land those other pitches, like it's game over. And that's what we're seeing in these first couple games. The thing is, the track record of both of these guys would show you that like that should be short-lived. And Bummer's had streaks of this before, so you expect him to shake it off and then get back to where he normally is. And I actually am still pretty confident in Bummer this season. Yeah. As well as a bit with Graveman too, because I think so far we've seen, and assuming
I knew it, Jack. I knew you had at least one left. All right, let's get that in Aaron Bummer's hands.
Assuming Harrison is not too banged up and he's going to be fine. That infield has been playing much better. I've thought they've looked good. They'll be even better when Moncada comes back. So, like I like the idea that we got some guys that are going to put the ball on the ground and get some safe outs. And so like I'm not too worried about Bummer, but he's got to start landing that slider. Like that's his game. And if he's not doing it, it's not going to work. Liam is the same way. You saw it last night. Liam was getting in a little bit of trouble, and then he's just throwing shit right over the plate. And it's like, well, I mean, like, I don't want to fight Liam Hendricks, but if he's throwing fastballs down the middle, people are going to hit him.
That's right. There's just like a little lack of sharpness with our main guys at the back. Actually, not Kendall Graveman. He's been really good. But the other two main guys at the back of the bullpen, just a little lack of sharpness. You think maybe once they get lathered up, then that'll all smooth out and it'll be.
I think so. I mean, like,
I think it'll work out.
You got to think about it. I mean, like, everybody's it seems to be a little bit off at the beginning of the season. Like, it just doesn't seem to be everybody on their A game. Just like, I don't know why you need 6 weeks of spring training, but apparently a lot of players do.
Yeah, I guess that's the case.
All right. So, staying in the bullpen.
Let's do it, man.
We got a pair of guys that have looked good. Bennett Sousa did not look good today, but Bennett Sousa and Tanner Banks have looked good so far into the season. They're a nice surprise. Yeah. These two, especially Tanner Banks. It's such a good story, and like he's looked good on the field. Beef, what do you think about his off the field appearance?
Dude, he has the big outing where he's 2 innings in Detroit and he has 4 strikeouts and this is like triumphant. You know, the guy's, you know, he's been toiling away in the minors, or whatever. And there's a picture of him with the collared shirt on where the buttons are stretched the fuck. Like it's either too many sizes too small, or when you put a button through the, like the neck one that's not supposed to be there, and then all the other buttons are off, and it's like they're stretched out. And so I tweeted something. I said, let's get a GoFundMe to get my man's a shirt that fits him. I was making fun of the way he was wearing the shirt, not necessarily that the shirt didn't fit him. I think he put the shirt on wrong or was just standing at an angle where it looked ridiculous. Man, did I get bodied. It's like, this man has been making $12,000 a year, you asshole. Like, yeah, there he is. I mean, maybe it's his titty hard-ons. Look at those titty hard-ons, man. Maybe that's what's stretching it. But look how he looks. How can a grown man look like that? Post-game, you look, I don't care if you ain't got no money. MSS will get you hooked up at the Unique Thrift Store. You're going to get you a shirt that fits your ass for $1, all right? It's not a cost thing. It's a, do you know how to dress like a grown man? Maybe that's why he was in the minors, Treasy. I don't know. We gotta work with this man.
No, I mean, I think we all know how little they get paid in the minors.
Yeah, that's true.
And so what if he was working part-time as a stripper and he got a tearaway shirt on when he comes up to the majors? I don't think he was expected to get interviewed after the game, right? He figured out, get in there.
His next gig. He was going to his next gig.
3 innings in, I'll get down, over there and do some work. But they stopped him for an interview on his way to his other job.
Exactly right.
I don't know, Beef. I kind of feel for him because I remember back in the day, you finally get that, your first real job in the real world, and you're waiting on that first paycheck. And that's what he's doing right now, man. He's waiting on that first paycheck. The first thing he's gonna do is get a nice shirt.
Mailman Jack says a wet body. I don't think so, because you would see wetness marks on the shirt, Mailman Jack. I'm sorry, that's not a valid excuse here. Jimbo agrees with you, Treasy. Polecats. That's where he's going. They were in Detroit, though, so he had to fly home first, and then he was going to go out there.
I met Jimbo. Great to see him. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, wonderful. And then Tim Maher says that the Doodle Show Up covered head to toe in Beanie Babies. MSS in the corner, give him a big thumbs up. MSS he'll get you hooked up with the Beanie Babies. No, I mean, he did a great job, and he did a great job again today. He had 2 innings, didn't have any strikeouts, a couple walks, but he pitched around him. You're hoping to find these guys. Like this is the whole argument against spending so much money on the bullpen, is like you want to be able to unearth some of these guys that came out of nowhere. A guy who was in the minors for 10 years, and it's like no one found this guy, and then he comes up and gives you 60 good innings. I'm hoping Tanner Banks is one of those guys. It kind of looks like he could be one of those guys, and maybe he takes the Jose Ruiz low leverage innings. So fucking what? If he's good in 60 innings, that's real valuable to him.
Someone's got to pitch those innings.
Someone's got to pitch them. Yes.
And I was thinking about it this way too, Beef. Like you think about last year, there was a bunch of bats hurt, and you had a guy like Yerman Mercedes come in and give you a good 6 weeks, right? And that's what you needed. That's all you needed out of Yerman.
Yep.
And right now the pitching's hurt. The guys at the back of the bullpen that are supposed to be the most reliable guys are not doing great. You need Tanner Banks. You need this guy to be the Yerman Mercedes of the pitching staff for 6 weeks, right? Yeah. And if that's all you ever get out of this dude, that's fine. That's fine. Just take what you can get, And so I'd love to see a few of these guys just come up and just do what they're asked to do, and they don't have to do anything more. They don't have to be the next big thing. I don't have to think about how does this guy slot into next year's. No, I just need 6 weeks.
Just produce now. Cliff Polite, he's still signing autographs. He's doing it
with
the Collectives Cave guys, right? He had one good year. He had one good year, but it was the World Series year. Tanner Banks could be the same thing.
Year. Yeah.
That's right. Tanner Banks could do the same goddamn thing. Just have one good year and you'll never buy dinner in this town again. I mean, it is, just be better than Cliff Livingston was on the 90s Bulls, and you will never buy dinner in this town one more time. All right? That's all I'm looking for. And I want
it all comes back to Livingston.
I thirst to find these guys. I thirst to find these underrated dudes, and the Sox just they haven't produced them lately. You haven't seen a lot of that coming out of the bullpen. They have been paying for the production for the most part. I mean, Bummer is a case like that, but Bummer's so removed from popping up and being good. Like he's gotten a contract extension and he's like a known guy. I'm talking about a guy who comes out of fucking nowhere and just like, hey, this is a guy all of a sudden. He's pitching well. And so I'm really rooting for Tanner Banks, man. I love it.
And having a really good team like this develops the situation for these guys. Yeah. Right. Because a lot of times, you know, we're thinking back through the rebuild and you're looking at guys and you're going like, man, they just didn't quite do it. But it was like, okay, but you were asking them to hit in the middle of the order, or you're asking them to be the number 3 in your rotation, right? Like when all you're asking this person is like, I need 2 left-handed innings out of you. Like, yes, that's what I need.
That's it.
That's a lot more reasonable to ask of somebody, and somebody who isn't a big name or doesn't have big pedigree or anything like that. And so I think that like there's a perfect storm here right now where we could see a couple of these big performances out of guys that you weren't expecting because they're just getting us through. That's all we need.
Right.
Just get us through. I could already feel Lucas Giolito getting healthy, you know, and what that starts to look like. Or I could see Bummer and Liam getting right at the back of the bullpen and having those two with Graveman and it being a really nice 7th, 8th, 9th, right? Like those things they're on the horizon, right? And when you can add in a little bit of, you know, Crick is doing nice and Banks is doing good, like that all adds up to something like really, really nice. Yeah, Bennett Sousa, I know he gave up the bomb today, but like it's as long as he could keep just being a you know, kind of just above average guy and coming out of the pen, this is all great. This is all great. Like I'm very optimistic for this team.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point about the you want to have that length of the amount of players because in a playoff series you have to use a lot of guys. Like even last year's playoff series, you started looking at the bullpen like, who do we still trust back there? Even Kimbrel, they didn't give Kimbrel any of the real innings, right? And you get to those bullpens early in a playoff series, so you've got to start training them during the regular season. You've got to start saying, okay, here's the evening, you know, where Liam's not pitching and Graveman's not pitching. All right, let's see what we have out there. Let's push some guys. And I noticed they put Jose Ruiz in a high leverage the other night, and he did good. Now, he didn't do so good today, but, you know, example.
No one did well today.
They brought in Reynaldo in the game on Wednesday to get the big out, and he did it. You know, like, so you want to start seeing some of these guys get these opportunities, give themselves a chance, because you're going to need to start finding out who these next guys are. You know, like the Joe Kellys of the world, if he ever gets healthy, he's only here on a 1-year deal. You got to start proving some of these other guys. And you can't every year, Rick Hahn, listen, you cannot every year spend the whole budget on bullpen, all right? Let's find some fucking guys who don't cost anything and spend some shit on some other things, okay? We'll spend some stuff on things that make sure Luis Garcia doesn't play as much and hurt everyone's feelings. I think that's the number one thing we need to do in the offseason next year, win or lose.
So let's look into to kind of the rest of the pile of players, Beef. And I think one guy that we've got to mention, because I mean I can't be sitting here with a mustache and not mention the junior Tom Selleck, our current ace of the staff, Dylan Cease. What have you thought about Dylan Cease to start the season? I would one start, obviously, but what did you think?
Yeah, he was downright dominant, and I was waiting to see what it was going to look like from the standpoint of I expected Dylan Cease to try to be a little more economical with his pitches and be more focused on not always trying to strike everybody out and trying to get a ground ball here or there, trying to get a hitter out with some contact, you know. And he still kind of seemed like the original Dylan Cease. He had 8 strikeouts and 3 walks in the 5 innings he pitched. But one thing he did do that really impressed me is he got himself into a jam, like he would always do. Remember, he'd always get himself into a jam. This is exactly
where I was going, because, like, yeah.
And he got himself out. And he stayed together and got himself out of it. And, like, that's real growth right there. Like, okay, you had this problem for a while, and you figured it out. Whatever he did, I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if he just realized, I got to focus a little harder here and convert these pitches. But he was able to get out of those. And if he does that, man, he is a stud.
He also got some bad calls in there, which would usually kind of like just completely throw him off. Like, and he would be in it just in a bad space, and you'd see it. You could see him being pissed and losing control, and it going downhill from there. And like, I thought that was the most impressive part of his start, even though it was probably the worst pitching that he had done. But he got himself into that jam, and then he got himself out. He didn't look great. And I think Abreu made a nice play to kind of
help him out. Yeah.
Help him. But again, they've put a good defense behind the pitchers now. So there's letting the ball get hit in every once in a while isn't as tragic as it normally is. Now today, not so great, but
well, we got some guys on the bench, some guys injured. Trees, a great point about putting the defense behind them. When they signed Josh Harrison, I could remember listening to lots of other people's shows and different things in commentary, and was like, oh, well, the bat, this or whatever. When we were talking about, our focus was that defense. He's a really good defender, and he was one of the best defenders at second last year. And you know what? He's really showing out on the defensive side. And with Moncada going down in the situations where you're not going to play Berger, look, I want to get Berger some at-bats because I want to see what Jake Berger is. But if you're not going to play him, it's nice to slide a Josh Harrison over to third and get the quality defense there when you need it, depending on the matchup. Or having him over at second and being the double play tandem with Timmy. He's been absolutely terrific. I mean, I kind of thought that was the case, but I didn't think it would be this good, like right out of the gate. Like Rick Giolito's tweeting, he's in for the Josh Harrison experience the other night. I love it.
Yeah. You know? Oh man, and you should be. You should be. It's very enjoyable. He hasn't hit that well so far, but he's throughout his career very streaky hitter. So we'll see if that comes around. But every time he's on base, like he is going to take that extra base. He is going to. He's going to do whatever he can to score, right? So, like, I've just really enjoyed that. You mentioned Rick Giolito, though. We've got to circle back to Dylan Cease. I can't wait for him to come sit in the 108 for Dylan Cease start and just tell you how bad you fucked up on that. And then I'll tell him, he wanted to trade Luis Robert for Eugenio Suarez, too.
Make sure you mention that, too. I still remember whatever that was, 108 day or whatever. And he was touting Dylan Cease. I'm like, he cannot hit the broadside of a barn. And he just looked at me like, you are a moron. And I wish I should go back and screenshot it just so everyone can see smart guy, idiot. And like, I just make a meme out of it because it was like insanity. And I thought, I was feeling like I was grinning, big tooth grinning or whatever. I'm such a moron. This man's telling me you are an idiot and I should have listened.
Speaking of people telling others that they're idiots, let's talk a little bit about Andrew Vaughn.
Yes, let's do it.
My
guy.
I can't think of a player, maybe Leury Garcia, who's evoked as much emotion over the most benign things at the beginning of this season than Andrew Vaughn. For one, the fake trade rumor people lost their minds about.
It was impressive.
And like,
I enjoyed it, actually.
You're reading it, and you had to be sitting there going like, if the Sox were going to trade Andrew Vaughn for Frankie Montas, that would be done.
Exactly.
There'd be no negotiating. It would be over. Oakland would be like, sure, we'll take it.
We got those flights booked for everyone and everything. If Oakland's looking to pick up the check for the flight, you oversold. You gave them too much,
And then there's just so much like, and that. It's not even just the reaction to that; it's the overreaction to that of just like he's untradeable. Well, no one's really untradeable. It's not.
But he ain't going for no Frankie Montas.
Well, yeah, and the Sox are like, I know we don't like. Sometimes you're just like, oh, why did the Sox do this? They're not morons, man. Like,
right.
they're still competent. So I saw that, and I'm just like, and the other thing is too, like, it doesn't even make that much sense when you think about it, because Oakland has just gutted their team.
Right.
Why are they going to go like, I want someone who the clock's already running on? Because when this team is even close to being good, I want to have to start paying into this guy's arb years. So like that doesn't even make sense. But I mean, Mike Rodolfo's untradeable if we're talking. He
untradeable.
He cleared waivers. No one wants him. You can't trade him. Exactly. But so the other thing though, Beef, is Vaughn's not playing every day, and people
not yet.
are
Not yet.
upset
They're
about
upset,
this,
yeah.
and I'm not really that upset about this.
Me either.
Let me throw something at you. And if you're listening to this, you're going, Treasy, you should be upset about this. I want you guys, I know this is tough. Think like 6 months ago. Like at the end of last season, he was coming down the stretch very poorly.
Yeah.
He was banged up, he was exhausted. He was not playing well.
Yeah, he looked like shit.
I don't want that again. And I don't think anyone wants that for Andrew Vaughn. So if he's getting a few days off up front and they're trying to see what Gavin Sheets is worth, and like what can he do? Then let him face some of the tough righties that Andrew Vaughn doesn't have to face. Let him play some of the outfield days that Andrew Vaughn doesn't have to play. Andrew Vaughn was just injured. Like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we didn't think he was starting the season.
Yeah.
And now you're like, play that guy every day. Make him get as many plate appearances and be out in the outfield as often as possible because I don't want him to make it through the season. Like, let's just...
You know what, Alex?
Just calm down.
Right? Alex Rude. Well, we don't know how much B-Flow's Rookie of the Year bet had to do with it last year. I bet him when he was hot in July. I told Alex, I'm like, I just bet Andrew Vaughn. He's like, he's not going to win. He told me immediately, he goes, he's not going to win. Randy Rosarina's going to win this. Like,
he was telling me last night how much you've ruined Vaughn's career throughout.
That's funny. What's funny is last year, we did talk a lot about Andrew Vaughn, and our expectations for him were a lot lower than everybody else. I mean, bar none. Everyone was telling us to start the year, no, this kid could hit rolling out of bed, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, this is a lot of pressure to put on him. He hasn't played in the minors, all this stuff. And then everyone reverted to he didn't play in the minors. Yeah, I know. That's what we were saying the whole time. That's why he hasn't been that good. And that's why on the Reggie's day, I thought he might end up being the best hitter on this team. But I agree with you, Treasy, but for a slightly different reason. I think, I'm okay with him not playing every day right this second. And the main reason I am is because I think it's okay for us to find out if Gavin Sheets is real. I'm not convinced Gavin Sheets is real. And so it wouldn't surprise me if the reason why Andrew Vaughn starts playing every single fucking day at DH and like sparingly in some other spots is they start realizing maybe Gavin Sheets is not as good as they think. Because right now, here's the paradigm. When you're tough righty, Andrew Vaughn can play in a couple spots. He could play left field, but is he a better hitter than Eloy right now? I'm not sure. I don't think so. He could play first. Is he a better hitter than Abreu? No, he's not.
No,
not yet. And then he could DH. But if you're choosing Grandal at DH, he's not a better hitter than Grandal at this point. Now he might become a better hitter than all of these guys by the end of the season. I have no idea. He's got the potential. He's got the upside. But when you're looking at how to shift this right now, you're like, I can kind of squint and see it. I get the people being upset, like just fucking play him no matter what. But I also can see the approach of a manager in the first 2 weeks of the season saying, let me get some guys some run. Let me get guys their best matchups or like remove guys from their worst matchups. And like Andrew Vaughn's, that's a tough matchup for him on Wednesday. That kid was throwing heat and ridiculous breaking balls. Like you prefer to have the lefty in there if you could in that spot. I kind of can see it. I think Andrew Vaughn ends up hitting a ton. Like I said at the Reggie show, I predicted that. I think he ends up hitting a ton, but I think it's going to be, we're going to see Gavin Sheets maybe not be as good as we thought he was last year.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it pains me to say it because me and Gavin Sheets' dad currently have the same facial hair. But
Larry, good old Larry.
It's very possible that Gavin Sheets is just kind of an average dude, right? And just he's maybe like a quadruple A guy, right? That's a possibility for him. Like he ascended pretty quickly towards the end of his run in the minors. And so you got confident in him and he's looked okay. I hope he's really good. It would be great to have a lefty bat in lineup. But if Andrew Vaughn ends up hitting right-handers as well as Gavin Sheets, you don't need Gavin Sheets anymore.
Right. He's a great guy to have as an up and down guy if that ends up being the case. And that might end up being the case. Andrew Vaughn might just end up, I think it'll be a combination of You realize Gavin Sheets wasn't the guy from last year. Still okay bat, guy, usable guy. And then then that makes it like, okay, Andrew Vaughn should just play instead of this guy. Like, this guy doesn't deserve a rotation. If you need a guy in there as the lefty, fine, we'll do that then. You know?
And figure it out in April, right? Figure it out in April and in May and understand what you got. And like, if you realize, all right, Andrew Vaughn is just saying, I got to be in lineup every day. I'm going to hit. I'm not tiring at all. I'm just ready to go.
Yep.
Then he ends up being that guy.
He's off to a good start, Treasy.
I don't think you need to force that on him.
I was going to say, and he's going to show it to us, right? We're going to know, like, end of May. Everyone's going to turn around and say, you know what? We fucked up. Andrew Vaughn shouldn't have sat for Gavin Sheets. But let's see it. Let's have him show it to us. You know, let's show it to us.
And that's fine. You know, especially the one thing too is like it's not like this. It's not like Andrew Vaughn would have been the difference in one of these games, really. Like today, I mean, like he was in the lineup today because of all the injuries. But like, imagine him and Sheets having to be switched out. Like Sheets didn't do shit, but neither did anybody. So it's like,
right? Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I don't think it's hurt us yet.
No.
I also don't mind the kid getting some days off. He's never played a lot of games. He plays, if he plays 125, 130 games, I think that's fine. I think that's fine for him.
That's a fine load. I would agree with that 100%. And look, to put the cherry on top of this, Treasy, it's okay to have more good hitters than spots. It's actually a really good problem. This is what the good teams look like, right? It's sometimes a good player has got to sit on those good teams. They sit out a game or two, Max Muncy doesn't play every game for the Dodgers. He sits sometimes, right? He's a huge power hitter. All these guys do on all the good teams. They sit,
It's great though, right? Because like you end up in a situation where think about a couple of years ago with what we went through, right? Like what you'd watch, and someone gets hurt, and who the hell knows is going to play, right? And now you're like, well, there's three guys hurt, so we're gonna see Jake Berger today. We're gonna see Adam Engel today. Okay, fine.
That sounds fine.
Good. That's also why when we're talking about trades with the A's, you're not trading from the roster. Don't even think about a guy on the roster because you want all that depth. Even when you're saying like, where are we going to get Sheets at bats? AAA. That's fine. Because when someone gets hurt, you want to bring them up. Like I want all the good players. Give me all the good players. And you could have their low minor league depth.
Yeah.
For the good players that you want to give us because you're trying to run yourself out of town and go to Las Vegas.
Right. And we're trying to win a championship.
Exactly.
We got different goals,
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm happy with how many guys. I'm happy with this problem. Right. Yeah. And I'm happy to unload it on Tony and go figure it out, dude. Just like when we were saying before the season, Beef, and they didn't do this, and now we're feeling the effects of it, is get 6-7 starting pitchers and tell Tony, you're the manager. You figure it out. Yeah. We're paying you to be the manager. You're supposed to be this tactical genius.
This is your problem. Yeah, exactly. You kind of do this thing. I agree, Trees. That should always be the onus on Tony, and let people nitpick. Those choices like he does. And like I said, even the thing with Vaughn, I feel free to nitpick that. Like say, Tony, fuck up. Those are good nitpicks to have. Those are good, fun things. Like, he should have used this guy because this guy's better in the 7th inning or whatever the fuck. That's fine. That's good stuff. That's how you know we got a good team. So I totally agree. Let Tony deal with that bullshit. We'll sit in the stands and drink and yell stuff.
Let's talk about another coach on the staff. A magical coach.
Yep. There's no question.
Some Menachino magic. Now, I will say today, 9 strikeouts, not great. But going into today, that K rate was super low.
Number one, baby. Number one in the majors. The lowest strikeout rate.
I thought you were telling me to shut up.
No. It was number one in the major league's lowest strikeout rate. And it's impressive because you traded away Madrigal, who was the guy who had no strikeouts. So you thought, okay, automatically the strikeout rate is going to pop up. But the approach, even by the power hitters, has been exceptional. Except for today when they had 9 strikeouts. Low strikeouts for kind of the whole squad of of power hitters. I mean, Vaughn has 1 strikeout. Luis Robert had 1 strikeout going into today. Eloy only had 3 strikeouts going into today. Grandal only 2 strikeouts going into today. Tim and Josh Harrison only 1 each. I mean, they're just not striking out a lot. They're putting bat to ball a ton. Now, it looks like, at least in the early going, they're foregoing a little bit in walk rate, which is fine. I mean, I think part of it is, too, you don't have Moncada. Moncada has a higher walk rate, and some of these guys will make a little more contact. But, what do you think, Treasy?
I also think, Beef, one thing that I've been seeing is that they are more aggressive at the plate. Now, while they're being selective in this, they are waiting on pitches. They're waiting for the pitcher to come to them. And I think that that's something that you're seeing throughout the league. You're seeing that when they're going after our relievers, that's exactly what's happening. And I think if this is the way that they're going to approach this and the way that they hit Robbie Ray yesterday, like, I'm all for it. Like,
nice.
Wait on your pitch. And I think that's a good approach. And I think that they've got the hitters where if you're going to make a mistake, they're going to make you pay. And good pitchers make mistakes. So it's not like, oh, this is only going to work against the bums. It worked against last year's Cy Young winner. Like, they looked good, man. And I want that. I want them to go after pitchers. I don't want high walk rates for the sake of high walk rates.
I was going to say, the approach is right. And you're right by saying that, Treasy. Don't want high walk rates just for the sake of it. You get to 2-0, hit the fucking ball out of the ballpark. Forget settling for a walk. Hit a fucking home run. And that's what the approach, I think, 3-0. Is.
You're swinging.
Let's go, baby. Let's work ourselves to account where we're going to get a great pitch to hit. And that looks like the approach right now. And that's a tremendous approach. I mean, that's like the Houston Astros approach, right? Yeah. They didn't necessarily have gigantic walk rates. They would have lower strikeout rates, but they would work themselves into counts where, we're going to hit the ball hard somewhere and hopefully in the stands. And the Sox in the early going seem to be doing all of that. I mean, like, it's impressive to watch. I'm interested to see if it keeps up throughout the season or if the White Sox just sort of the first batch of pitchers that they faced weren't that tough, weren't that adept. Like, you've only really faced one ace and you lit him up. You lit up Robbie Ray. Other than that, I mean, you haven't faced it. Now, the Seattle starters, the kid that pitched on Wednesday is an up-and-comer. And the Logan Gilbert who pitched today is good. I mean, he's a good pitcher. He's not a star, but he's a good pitcher. So, maybe it is a little more improvement of approach. Yeah,
I mean, Beef, I was not expecting going into that series that Seattle was not going to be able to hit. I did not expect it to be like I expected Robbie Ray to have a good game, but I was like, this brash kid, he looks talented, right? But he's pitched 10 games in Double-A. I mean, like, that's it. And so, like, I did not expect him to come out and look good. He did.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Their bats didn't show up.
That's true.
I don't know if they know this, but I've got money on them for that season wins. They need to get
over 84.
Now that they're out of town, they need to get their shit together. But from our side, Beef, I know you're doubting it just a little bit, but I just want to remind you about this. There's Menachino magic, baby. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. I don't want you to think that it's fake.
What I want to see is people out in the streets cheering on the Menachino magic, because last year when they were hitting too many ground balls, they blamed the shit out of Frank.
It's all his fault.
So now you got to throw some bouquets at Frank, man. They got a good approach at the plate. Let's get a little support for Frank Menachino.
Beef, you know what? Let it go. But I want to if they tear it up this week against Tampa, if they come out and just obliterate Tampa, and we don't have to win by a lot. Yeah. Just score a lot of runs. If they score a lot of runs, I want some people to admit that there's some Menachino magic.
Do you want people to get in that stance? Just stand there in that stance?
Absolutely. I want you to come down to the 108 and stand right in the aisle, as long as there's no vendors trying to get by, and you stand with that wide stance, arms crossed, hat on backwards.
I love it. That definitely has to happen. I'll be upset if that doesn't happen. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, Billy Wires is going to be here this. We're gonna see it at least once when Billy's here, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he loves the man spreading. There's no question about it.
All right, Beef. I mean, like with no MSS, we kind of flew through a lot of stuff.
We're gonna get done in an hour and a half here. Unbelievable.
We didn't get into a lot of the stories that we should have had. But I can't wait till next week. We're gonna have him back. It's gonna be full squad. I think when he gets back to his first game, I think that's when you're going to see a lot of the players coming back to the team. So I think we're going to get towards the end of the month there. We're going to have Makata back. We're going to have I think Gio's going to come back. It's going to get pretty exciting the more and more My Stock Summer we get. So I'm excited for that. Beef, anyone you want to thank before we get out of here?
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to thank the fine people at the Hilton down there in Orange Beach, Alabama, who took such good care of us. I don't know if you know this, Treasy, but when you get into these Hiltons, what their specialization is to give you warm chocolate chip cookies. So every time you walk in, you can get warm chocolate chip cookies. And we must have got them like 7 different times. And I loved them every single fucking time I got them. And then I'd also like to thank Billy Wires for continually putting the word horse penis out on the internet so I can read it. I never see it otherwise. I read a lot.
And you're anti-horse.
I never see it. Yeah, no, since the horses won't exist anymore, it's good to remember their enormous penises. Treasy, who do you have to thank tonight?
So, man, I want to thank everyone who gave me a beer on Tuesday. That was very helpful to my day. But I also just want to thank everybody who stopped by the 108 and said hello. It was a lot of fun. The opening day was a tremendously good time, and I'm glad that we can actually spend it in the 108 this year. This is the first time we've been in there since 2019, because last year we were in section 111 or something like that. Yeah, so it's been a while since we had an opening day in the 108. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. People were enjoying the hell out of the day, and it was honestly a beautiful day. I couldn't believe it. The weather held. Last night's weather wasn't so great, but it was still a lot of fun too. So I want to thank the people that came out to that, gave me something to do on a Wednesday night. So thanks everybody. We will see you very soon. And we'll see you at the park tomorrow. Right, Beef?
Absolutely. I'll be up there, man. Cliff Livingston in the house. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone.